They come from all across the world. 100 challengers, 4 stages, 1 goal to become the next champion. This is Ninja Warrior of Halo! Hello guys, I'm HuntUnit751 and welcome back to Ninja Warrior of Halo. We're halfway through stage 1. So far, 50 challengers have taken on the first stage and it has been brutal, with not a single competitor making it to the finish line. And although we did see progress in the last episode as competitors made it to the jumping spider, they have found this new obstacle to be even more deadly than the others. Only one man, Ironbug Champion, who was making his landmark 10th appearance on the course in this tournament, has been able to get past the jumping spider, the only competitor out of 50 that has so far made it past the 4th obstacle. But despite his best efforts, he was unable to get up the Great Wall. Smoky Massacre's total victory in the last tournament seems a very distant memory, replaced by the brute that is this new course. Do any of today's 25 challengers have what it takes to make it to stage 1's finish line and be the first to move on to stage 2? Or will we see nothing more but doom and gloom? Let's find out with our first competitor waiting at the start line, Newcomer UNR Death. He's hoping to avoid death on stage 1 and hoping to move on to the second stage. He has 110 seconds for 9 obstacles. First is the rope slider. Head down the head slide and land at the bottom. Caused a lot of problems so far in the tournament, including taking out Alex Shea 189 in the last episode. But he's up it and onto the ball drop. This obstacle has been equally as deadly as the rope slider. Oh, he smacks it to get it rolling. That means it's going to be rolling very fast. But it looks like he's hanging on, keeping control, and he's through it nicely. Onto the pole maze. This obstacle was finally beaten in the last episode. Oh god, he's lagging all over the place. But he survives. It didn't cause as many problems in the last episode. Oh, but it stops UNR Death. He's undone by the pole maze. Next up, we have Cranky Turnip 294. What a gamer tag. Didn't think turnips could run obstacle courses. Oh, and there was a gold person there that looked a bit like me. I think there was, unless I'm having an hallucination. But he goes out on the rope slider. Bad luck to Turnip. Should get back in the ground. Next up, we've got Riddled Bug 79899. Another newcomer and a big fan of the show, making his long-awaited debut. And he's doing so on the biggest of stages so far, with this brutal new first stage. He's through the rope slider though, and he's heading on to the ball drop. Taking his time with it, not rushing. He's taking a more cautious approach, getting it to roll slowly, and he's hanging off the very back of it. That could work, but he could fall off here on one of the drops. Nah, he survives nicely. Onto the pole maze. He goes right for it. No, but he can't do the pole maze either. Bad luck to him. Next up is another newcomer, but this one some of you guys may recognize. GameCheat13YT, which is the famous Halo YouTuber. Almost celebrity, you might say, competing on the course. It's a really interesting thing, to be honest, because on the actual Sasuke, back in the old days, they used to have lots and lots of Olympians, and I suppose they were the highest ranked sportsmen that you could get to run the course. So I suppose the Halo equivalent of that would be Halo YouTubers or Halo pro players. Thinking about it, to be honest, apart from probably Spiteful, I can't think of many other Halo celebrities that have done that well on this course. GameCheat is hoping to turn that around though, and he's onto the pole maze. Oh, that wasn't a good jump, and he barely gets into the head slide, but fortunately he survives and lands back at the bottom. He'll get a second try at it. And he's up it this time, but he's taking a very slow approach at the minute. Looking at the time, 52 seconds left on the clock. He really needs to pick up the pace here. Onto the jumping spider. This was brutal in the last episode, taking out 9 of the 10 competitors that tried it. He jumps. Oh no! He had a good jump, but he crouched too late. If he crouched earlier, I think he would have got that. Bad luck's a game cheat. Next up, we have Volcanic Crowd 5. Another newcomer and another big fan of the show making his debut. How will he do? 110 seconds as he heads down the rope slider and is through it nicely. This guy comes from Taiwan, so he's almost the Ninja Warrior of Halo equivalent of Li Yanqi. If this guy does as well as Lee did on Sasuke, then Volcanic Crowd is in for one very impressive career on Ninja Warrior of Halo. Oh, but it almost ended there on the ball drop. Completely lost the ball, but fortunately landed on the stopper. And now he gets into the pole maze nicely. It's a little bit all over the place at the minute, but he survives and is on to the jumping spider. Li Yanqi once failed the jumping spider, but Volcanic Crowd doesn't. He's heading through the second half of this obstacle. He's taking his time though. You've got to keep moving, Volcanic Crowd. 110 seconds is a long time limit, but this is a long course as well. If you take too long, then eventually the time limit will come back to get you. But he's the second person through the jumping spider and he flies through the checkerboard. Now he's onto the Great Wall. Iron Bug Champion couldn't get up this obstacle, but Volcanic Crowd does! He's the first competitor to complete the Great Wall, and with 27 seconds on the clock, he is the first to take on the flying chute. You gotta head down the slide, jump off at the bottom, land on the pole, but he overshoots it! No! Oh, Volcanic Crowd is beaten. Let's take a look at the replay. He was looking good, but he threw himself too much, had too much forward momentum, and ended up completely overshooting the landing pole. It's the best effort we've seen so far in this tournament, but it's still not enough as he drops out on the flying chute. Following that, more competitors tried, but none of them were able to get as far as Volcanic Crowd. Former Halo racer I'm So Shift-Face was back for his third appearance after missing the last tournament, and he had a very entertaining run. He completely missed the ball on the ball drop, but rather than give up, he just decided to wait until it respawned. By the time he got to the jumping spider, he had no time left on the clock and failed anyway. Then we had newcomer Clever Ninjas, who's also a fan of the show and a Roblox kid. He did very well getting into the jumping spider, but then fell out of it. Returning competitor Obi-Wan, friend of Smokey Massacre, couldn't get through the pole maze. And then newcomer Bounty Hunter 532 also couldn't defeat the pole maze. Our 60th competitor to run the course, Slayer Rocker 83, got himself wedged between the ball and the stopper and flew off to the side on the ball drop. Then Sneak Killer 7, who hasn't competed since Tournament 12, made a return to the course but couldn't defeat the jumping spider despite his best efforts. Then we had Henrique from Mexico, who also failed the pole maze. Then we had Lucky Sumo 52, who couldn't sumo his way past the jumping spider and crashed and burned. Finally, we had Stan Stampy, who had a friend at the start line that looked very much like Smokey Massacre, but despite his Smokey Massacre look-alike, he couldn't even get past the first obstacle. Our next competitor is the first returning one of today's episode, Improbable Rage, or Angry Rob as he's more well known. Back for his second appearance, this guy is also a Halo racer, and he got to the jump hang on his first appearance in Tournament 14. Oh, but he fails the first obstacle today! Oh, Rob is going to be very angry at that. Oh dear. Well, from one returning competitor to another, Nitro Jack's 1 made his debut in the last tournament and got to the warped wall. He did get up the wall, but he got to the top of it pretty much as the clock hit 0. And so it was classed as a warped wall fail. I still think he had the third best newcomer performance though in the last tournament, and he's hoping to go even further today. If he does, that'll be very impressive considering the increased difficulty on this new course. He's looking good at the minute though, onto the pole maze. Heading through it nicely. And out the other side. Time for the jumping spider. Oh, acknowledges his friends in the crowd. I think he's got a couple of mates watching on, I believe. He hits the trampoline nicely, and he's into the spider, and then he flies to the first column, making his way through. Moving faster than Volcanic Crowd did. This is crucial. And he's on to the checkerboard. He's halfway through and used up just over half his time. He's heading for the Great Wall. Now, he failed. Well, he got up the warped wall in the last tournament, but he did effectively fail the warped wall. He took too many attempts at the warped wall, and that killed his run. Ended his run there. Oh, and the Great Wall is causing him problems today. It's potentially killing his run today. 30 seconds left. Third attempt, he gets it. But time is very much against him, just as it was with Volcanic Crowd. Can he do the flying shoot, though? He's going down it. He flies down it. Oh, but he undershoots it. Oh, okay, that was surprising. He threw himself at the chute, flying down it, but then obviously tried to slow his momentum and ended up coming up short. Next up, we've got Gan the Fan. Another newcomer. Oh, only just makes the rope slider there, but he's fine. And on to the ball drop. Looking confident as he gets onto the ball drop. Can he survive the drops, though? No, he can't! He falls off instantly on the first drop. Bye-bye. Next up, we've got Atlantic Champ. Another newcomer and a big fan of the show, making his long-awaited debut, and he's got a little dance, apparently. Can he waltz his way through this course? Another big fan of the show. He wanted to compete in Tournament 16, but showed up too late. Now, after almost a year of waiting, he is making his debut on the Tournament 17 course. He probably took one look at this course and wished he'd made his debut on the Tournament 16 course. But he's looking good at the minute. He's put his practice in, and it's showing at the minute. And he's up into the pole maze very nicely. He almost glided up the pole there. It almost looked like he didn't jump off the pole. Obviously he did, but it was so perfectionate, you almost couldn't tell. Onto the jumping spider, he goes for that as well, but I think he jumped too early there. Yes, he did. Oh, he jumped too early, and he got a good bounce, though, but he wasn't going to make it. A good effort, but Atlantic Champ is out. Next up, we have Takayuki Sugo. And with a gamer tag like that, you'd think he was from Japan. Let's see if the gamer tag will help him get through stage 1. I doubt it will, but we're going to roll with that. He, of course, is wearing the infamous number 69, a number that I don't think anyone has ever beat stage 1 wearing 69. But let's see if Mr. Takayuki can do so. He's taking his time on the ball drop, but he gets it rolling now. Doesn't panic. Oh, lands at the bottom. Still taking his time, but he's through. And onto the pole maze. He didn't get past this obstacle in practice. Can he do it on the real thing? Taking his time again. Oh, but he gets it! Nicely done! When it's time to step up, Takayuki did just that, and I imagine he's probably quite surprised. Now onto the jumping spider. He's taking a look at this, and I don't think he knows what to do, to be honest. He didn't get here in practice. Yeah, you got to go that way, but you got to back up. No, don't do that! Oh my dear goodness, no. I mean, he hit the column, though, with his head, despite the fact he had 0 jump, but he was never going to make it. Next up, we have Avows the Samurai, who's apparently camera shy. Our 70th runner. This guy is another newcomer and big fan of the show, making his debut. He is also hoping to put on a good performance. Shooting the ball to get it rolling on the ball drop. You see, even a small, simple little thing like that can be the difference in telling whether a guy has practiced or not. He's clearly practiced. Either that or he's extremely confident that he knows what he's doing. Or he's done this sort of thing before, just not on this course. But he's looking good at the minute. And he's onto the jumping spider. It's taken out the last 2 competitors, but he flies into the jumping spider. Nice work by Avows. He's heading through. very quickly as well, and he's the 4th competitor in this tournament and the 3rd in today's episode to reach the checkerboard. He's taking his time here, but he's through it, and on to the Great Wall. Now, if he can get up this in 1, he's going to have a really good shot here with time, but he doesn't get up it on the first try. Second try looked good, but he still doesn't get it. 3rd try, he's not giving himself much of a run up, but he gets it on the 3rd try. 35 seconds left, that's more time than anyone else so far. Can he do the flying shoot though? He's going down it. No, too much momentum, and he overshoots the pole as well. Ah, that's 70 competitors now, and still no stage 1 clears. But as our next competitor heads to the start line, this guy surely has a shot at completing the 1st stage. The next competitor to take on the course is Duster Buster 2K, who is today making his 13th appearance on the course. He made his debut all the way back in Tournament 3, and although he has a Stage 1 record of just 3 Stage 1 clears in 12 appearances, which is one of the worst out of all of our veterans, nobody can doubt Duster's determination and dedication to the course, being one of the most experienced competitors of all time. And when he has had success, it has produced some memorable moments. He was one of only 2 competitors to reach the 3rd stage in Tournament 8, and then in Tournament 13 he almost made it back there again, sadly running out of time on the final vehicle ramp. Following Tournament 13, he missed the next 2 tournaments, but came back for the last tournament where he shockingly went out on the jump hang. Duster has admitted himself that he doesn't know how much longer he will be competing. So, if this is his final appearance, can he go out with a bang? Duster Buster 2K, a good friend of mine, today making his 13th appearance on the course. He's seen plenty of courses in his time. He's one of a small group of competitors that still competes that has attempted the original Halo Reach course, which he obviously attempted in tournaments 3 and 4. Then he was around when we had the first Total Victory renewal, which introduced the jump hang and the warped wall, and now another renewal which sees this mammoth of a new course introduced with all these new obstacles. And one of them is the pole maze, and it's caused him problems, but he survives. He gets another crack at it, and he gets it on the 2nd try. Heading through, but already looking at the clock, he's going to have to keep an eye on it as he heads for the jumping spider. He was worried about this obstacle more than any of the other obstacles. Oh, he jumps, but I think he jumped too early. Yes, he did. No, Duster! Duster is out on the jumping spider. For the 2nd tournament in a row, he fails the 4th obstacle on stage 1. Our experienced veteran. You could tell instantly he jumped way too early. And although he got a good jump on the trampoline, he was never gonna make it. And that is the end. Is this the last time we'll ever see Duster? Well, after that shocking failure, we have another veteran waiting to run the course. This is Lethal Lizard, back for his 4th appearance. This guy is the brother of Master Nuramag and is one of the rising veterans on this course. Although his brother has had much more success than him, Lethal Lizard did manage to have some success of his own in the last tournament when he completed stage 1 for the first time ever, but was one of many competitors to drop out on the metal spin. But he's looking good at the minute, flies through the first 2 obstacles and straight into the pole maze. Throws him a little bit to the side there, which will cost him a couple of seconds, but he's still looking good. He's on to the jumping spider, the killer of so many so far, including Duster. But not Lethal Lizard. He has a good record. Although he's only cleared stage 1 once, he's made it to at least the 6th obstacle or further in all of his previous attempts. And as he makes his way through the checkerboard, he's going to do that again. He heads for the Great Wall. He has failed the warped wall once before in Tournament 15, but he flies up the Great Wall in his first attempt. 45 seconds left. He's got more time than anyone else so far that's got here. He's going down the flying chute fast. He stalls his momentum. He gets a safe jump. He lands it. Oh my goodness. Lethal Lizard is through. And he has just 2 obstacles left. He's onto the Tarzan jump. You got to head down the slide, hit the man cannon, and launch onto the rope ladder, which is the final obstacle. 20 seconds left. Get to the top and you've done it. He almost slips up there, but he's still climbing. He's up to the top. He's going to go over the bridge. Oh my goodness, Lethal Lizard has done it. Lethal Lizard has done it with 12.1 seconds left on the clock. He is the first competitor to complete Stage 1 in this tournament and the first to do so on the Xbox One. Wow, what a performance. I'm losing my voice. It was that spectacular. A fantastic performance from Lethal Lizard. Brilliant stuff from him. That run was perfection. He had almost no problems, no slip-ups anywhere on the course. He flew through those first few obstacles and took on the jumping spider very confidently. Then, crucially, he got up the Great Wall on his first attempt, which meant he had plenty of time for the flying chute. But he didn't slow down, he flew down that as well, but was able to slow himself down enough on the jump to not overshoot the pole, and then was able to complete the obstacle. And Lethal Lizard from there was smooth sailing, and he is the first competitor to move on to the second stage. The brother of Master Nuramak has sent out a statement. Wow, how do you follow on from a performance like that? Well, maybe with a competitor who has zero chance of completing Stage 1, but that doesn't mean he's going to not be spectacular. The next competitor to take on the course is Pandas for Life, back today for his 6th appearance on the show. He made his debut back in Tournament 12 as Zombie Killer, and since then has established himself as one of the best competitors to look forward to in these tournaments due to his bizarre and entertaining runs. King of the Derps, King of the Wallies, whatever you want to call him, he always puts on an entertaining run, but always ends up getting wet. His record on this course is pretty easy to follow. He's failed the rolling ball, jump hang, rolling ball, jump hang, and rolling ball again. He's never completed the first stage, and that's surprising because he's managed to do it twice before on Smokey Massacre's course, including once on the Xbox One. So he clearly does have the skills, but he just prefers to mess around. The question is, will he produce another funny failure? Or will he take it seriously this time on the biggest of stages so far? Pandas for Life. You always know he's going to put on a funny run. One of these days I'd love to see him actually take this course seriously. I mean, he doesn't take Smokey's course seriously either, but he has actually had success, genuine success on Smokey's course. But he's had pretty much next to none of that on this course because he messes around too much. But the question is, will he do it again today? He's onto the ball drop, and he's doing it backwards. Oh no, no, this is not going to end well. You're going to fall off on the first drop, Pandas. No, he doesn't. Oh, Pandas, no! Oh, Pandas has almost done it. No! What a fail that was. Oh, he almost did the ball drop backwards. Wow. Good luck following on from that, MB attack, or MBA attack, MBA attack. This guy's also a friend of Pandas and a friend of the competitor that's about to run the course after him. Oh, and he drops out on the rope slider. Oh dear, bye-bye. Well, now we're on to our final competitor of today. This is Newcomer, the Murdoch Man. This guy is been hanging around in the jumping parties a lot on MCC and has been looking forward to taking on this course. He's promised he's going to put on an entertaining run. He's a bit like Pandas, to be honest. He's a bit of a wally, likes to have fun, likes to mess around. Will he do so on this course? Fun fact, actually, the last 3 guys all actually did the trials course together. They did it at the same time, all got to exactly the same spot, and have ended up qualifying consecutively 73 to 75, which is very coincidental and a bit bizarre, to be honest. Almost sounds like it's rigged. Oh no, 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 that's terrible. That is terrible. Oh my goodness me. Well, Murdoch Man, what can you say about that? Panda's run was entertaining, but that has got to be the worst attempt you will ever see at the ball drop. He couldn't get the ball rolling, so he tried to force the issue by shooting it with a shotgun, And the ball just completely rejected him, pushed him onto the track, and then he dropped into the water from pretty much the very tip top of the track. Oh dear, that was good, but the honour of Spartan Wipeout for today has to go to Pandas for Life. You always know you're going to get something entertaining from Pandas, and he did so once again. Having the nerve, the confidence to do the ball drop backwards, and he almost beat the obstacle. Sadly, he landed too low on the landing platform, and despite his best efforts with the save jump, he couldn't complete the obstacle. The best wipeout of the day, and maybe the best of the tournament. And with that, guys, we've come to the end of today's episode. 75 challengers have now taken on Stage 1, and we finally have had a victor. Lethal Lizard, the brother of Master Norimak, who's been trapped in his brother's shadow for so long in his Ninja Warrior of Halo career so far, is finally starting to step into the light. He beat Stage 1 for the first time ever in the last tournament, and today, he earned himself the record of being the first ever competitor to complete Stage 1 on the Xbox One. His success proves that this course can be beaten, despite all the failings we've seen so far. And it will give confidence to our final 25 challengers, who we will see run in the next episode. And they are the best of the best. The best competitors who put on the best performances on the Trials course, from high-flying newcomers to returning competitors looking to make an impact, to veterans that have been to stages 2 and 3 countless times in the past, and of course the All-Stars, which include 3 new members for today's tournament, and of course our hero from last time, the new Grand Champion, Smoky Massacre. Who out of the final 25 challengers will have what it takes to join Lethal Lizard in Stage 2? Join us next time, guys, to find out, but until then, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you guys next time. I've been Hunt Unit 751, and until next time, ta-ta!